Well, before we get too far into news, let's do our trailer roundup,
Whoop, whoop.
where we give simple thumbs up, thumbs down, and every angle in between.
We're very
We're very fluid.
yeah, it's
not black or white.
Whatever you want it to be.
The first one I have on here is Last Night in Soho. This is an Edgar Wright film.
I'm giving a thumbs up.
I'm giving 2 thumbs, way up.
Yep.
This stars Anya Taylor-Joy, and I cannot remember her name. She was
I think her name's
Jojo Rabbit.
Is it Thomasin McKenzie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thomasin McKenzie. She's great in Jojo Rabbit,
yes,
and
she is.
I think she's going to be fantastic in this as well.
It also has the Doctor Who guy in it.
Matt Smith.
Yes.
Yes, and
Game of Thrones guy. He's a Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. But yeah, it's got a big cast. Edgar Wright, obviously, very talented director. Seems like it's a little outside his wheelhouse from what he normally does.
Yes.
But that's why I'm excited.
Yeah, I would echo everything you just said. I watched it just before we started here, and I was like, man, this looks good. I think this is very different for Edgar Wright. Like, this is not like anything he's done before, and that has bode well recently. Like when directors step outside of their comfort zone. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's always important to push yourself as a creator.
Yeah. Yep. Luke in the chat says Soho gets a sideways thumb. So not as hyped as we are.
The last scene in the trailer gets a down thumb for me, but everything else gets a thumbs up.
It's weird because it is the last bit in the trailer is where it really goes.
It turns it up to 11.
It turns it up to 11 in a bit of a confusing way because it feels like it's it plays with this idea where how much of this is real, what's being imagined, and then it kind of leans into this may be more real than we think, but things are happening that, like, why would that happen? So I'm waiting to pass too much judgment, but I am excited about it. For sure.
I'm really looking forward to that.
The next is the Tomorrow War. This is an Amazon Prime original, starring Chris Pratt.
Yep.
And I think it gets a thumbs up from me. I think that the premise looks really interesting, and I think Chris Pratt looks like Chris Pratt. So, I know we've talked about it before. Chris Pratt doesn't do much outside of be Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but he doesn't seem to have that much range, and it doesn't look like he's really exerting any range in this trailer, which is fine if you find him funny, I guess.
Yeah, he is funny. Like, I am notorious for not liking Chris Pratt, so I'll wear that on the chin. But this will get a sideways thumb for me. I think I like the premise of this movie more than I will like this movie. Like, I think there's a lot there to explore. I think the movie... Oh, this is hard to say because I think it's going to be taken the wrong way. The movie, to me, feels like Amazon trying to make an MCU movie, if that makes sense.
Everyone's trying to make an MCU movie, because it's what makes money. Unfortunately.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah, sideways thumb for me. What is Luke's?
Luke did not... sideways. Sideways. Again, he said, just really look excited to see Yvonne Strahovski again. I didn't even recognize her in that trailer. But
yeah, she's always a sight. Does a good job.
Yep. Jungle Cruise.
Oh, yeah! This gets a thumbs down for me.
Yeah, big old thumbs down for Jungle Cruise.
This is the PG Fast and Furious franchise, baby.
The more I see of it, the less I like it. And this really feels like Disney doing the most Disney thing they could do with I thought Pirates of the Caribbean was a stretch when it was like, hey, we're going to make a Pirates of the Caribbean. You mean a movie based on one of your freaking rides?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that franchise actually wasn't that bad until got too many movies in.
Yeah.
But this just looks silly and not a good way.
Yeah, like the CG looks bad. There's explosions in this, like it literally looks like a Fast and Furious movie.
It does. It's a Fast and Furious movie on the Nile in a steamboat.
Yeah, like it's super weird.
Oh, Luke, of course, gives it 2 thumbs up simply because Emily Blunt. Luke, cast anyone else but Emily Blunt in there, and I'm curious what your opinion of the trailer is.
Replace Emily Blunt with Jessica Chastain, and then tell us what you think of that movie.
That's what I'm really curious about, because much like some of... I guess what's interesting to me is that Emily Blunt and The Rock both have really good range when it comes to acting.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see that in Shazam, especially with The Rock. It'll be a very different kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like Disney is just wanting to make a family movie for the summer and basing it off one of the rides. And to me, that's too much of a money grab.
Yeah, I don't think it looks good.
Yeah.
I like Luke's prediction for the Tomorrow War, and I would bet a considerable amount of money on that. But
that is a good. That's a good bet.
Are you thumbs downing Jungle Cruise? Or are you
he's thumb downing
thumbs downing Jungle Cruise with Chastain
with no Emily. So literally the only reason Luke gives that 2 thumbs up is because of Emily Blunt.
That's fair. She is good.
She is. We also got a trailer for M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
That made me think of salami when you said that. Oh, yeah.
Tyler, what's your... where do you stand? What do you think of this trailer?
I think where you... I'll say this. I think where you stand on this trailer is where you stand on M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
I think if you like Shyamalan, I think you'll enjoy this. And I like Shyamalan. So I think there's something there. So I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm curious.
I am exactly where you're at in terms of like, man, every time Shyamalan puts out something new, I'm like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Because I like his stuff enough, man.
Yeah.
Even he's had misses. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, he's had
misses. And this feels like a movie. And it may be just because I know that it was filmed during 2020 and the pandemic, but it feels like a quarantine movie where it's like, we can't have too many people on set. We're not going to be going around to a bunch of places. Like, it all takes place right here. But no, it's a thumbs up from me. Yeah,
I'm curious. One of my favorite things, and this is mean to say, but one of my favorite things about Shyamalan movies is just seeing how badly he can mess up the twist. So I'm really curious, what is the twist here?
You're not wrong in that, even if the movies ends up being bad, it's still, it's a big swing. Mm-hmm. It's like watching a batter come up to the plate who you're like, he can hit a crazy home run. You know he can do it. He also may, just strike out.
Yeah.
And, but watching it is fun. Watching that anticipation.
Yeah, you're just waiting to see, okay, is this going to work or not? I don't think it looks awful, Luke. I do think some of the performance looks pretty bad, though.
Luke gives it a thumbs down, by the way. So,
yeah,
I wouldn't say it looks awful, but I know Luke well enough to know that doesn't surprise me. There was one more that I had watched. I don't know if you watched it. Escape Room Tournament of Champions.
I did not watch this one.
Oh boy. I've not seen any of the Escape Room. I think this is the 3rd one. I haven't seen any of the Escape Room movies, but
Does he want us to say Shamhammer?
Say Shamhammer?
Yeah, Shamhammer.
Oh yeah, dude, Luke, the Shamhammer. He's here to play.
Yeah.
He's gonna hit that nail on the head.
Ooh.
The Shamhammer.
We'll see.
I mean, it may not be straight, but
he'll hit it and he'll turn it over. Yeah, he'll turn it over, but it'll be there.
But he'll hit it. Escape Room Tournament of Champions looks like what you would expect probably a $20 million
what even is this
movie after, the first one was probably made for like $4 million, the second one for 10, and the third one is like a $20 million production. It's literally just people who get trapped in escape rooms are getting trapped in like more complicated escape rooms.
So they've been trapped in escape rooms now 3 times?
Think it's essentially Saw, but like without the Saw. It's not quite as gory, I don't think, and it's not quite as horror. It's more like YA Saw is kind of what the trailer like. It gets a thumbs down from me, but it's not my kind of movie. So.
I'm gonna thumbs down it even without watching it. Do we want to thumbs up or down the gameplay trailers that came out too?
Ooh, we sure could just roll right into those,
and we'll just make it kind of a part of it.
Yeah,
and I can run those ones.
All right, go for it.
So first up, Far Cry 6, which also got its release date announced for October 7th. This was a pretty interesting gameplay trailer. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up though. I like the Far Cry franchise. I thought Far Cry 5 was amazing, and Giancarlo Esposito is the villain, and that's all I need to say about it.
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up as well. I've been kind of... it's easy for me to burn out on Far Cry games because they've introduced so much to do in them. It's a little bit like Assassin's Creed. Like, you give me too much of a checklist, and eventually I get disinterested. That said, they are always fun to play. I've played all of them that have been released, and I enjoy my time with them. I haven't finished the last couple because, again, it's just too much of the same.
Yeah.
I
would highly recommend you finish the story of 5.
I know what happens.
Okay, never mind.
I know what happens.
Then you're good.
Yeah, that was one where I went online. I was like, I know I'm not going to finish this. And you and Luke kept talking about it. So I was like, all right, like, I'm just going to get the experience. Like,
and it was awesome, wasn't it?
It is awesome.
Yeah.
For sure. This one looks really fun. I think that it has a little bit of the... How do I want to say this? I feel like the models they showed look a little bit like they're being held back, probably by them still supporting last gen, and that's I'm seeing that across the board.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I'll talk about that in Horizon as well. Like, there's just a level of, I don't know, like material or something. Like, they all look super sweaty. I know it's the Caribbean and people are sweaty because it's hot, but like everyone's got like glossy makeup on or something.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. The other one, and there's 2 more. The next one I'll say is Dying Light 2, Stay Human.
Yeah.
Because I know that everybody wants to get to the big one, so I'm gonna slow us down.
Sure.
Dying Light 2, Stay Human released quite a bit this week. That game's kind of been quiet.
It got delayed last...
It's gotten delayed like 3 times.
3 or 4 times, yeah.
Yeah. Still Techland, the studio's still open, which is now something I think about after reading Press Reset.
Yeah.
I think this looks amazing. I spent a lot of time in Dying Light, and I really enjoyed that game. I look forward to Dying Light 2. Unapologetically, last year on our predictions podcast, I didn't use it, but I projected that would win Game of the Year. I don't think it will this year, for reasons we'll talk about shortly, but I'm very, very excited about this one.
Yeah, I think this trailer also gets a big thumbs up for me. It's marriage of all these different gameplay systems that we've seen over the years, and I haven't played Dying Light, so I don't know what exactly is from there, but we were chatting a little bit before the show, and Mirror's Edge is a game that I love that people slept on, and it just didn't get a lot of traction. But it had this amazing parkour system, and this game looks like it's really doubling down on kind of a like free running across this more or less open world. Pair that with like some stealth mechanic-y things, plus a good combat system, plus allegiances and alliances and
the living, breathing
zombies.
World. Yeah, yeah, and it's like living, breathing too. Like the alliances you make will kind of fracture the story and all these.
And the alliances
paths.
I make will be different than the alliances you make because of how we choose to interact with the different factions. That's all really cool, and it looks like it's being packaged in a really tight game.
It is. Yeah, and Lepke talked about item duplication. So there was a bug in Dying Light 1 where if you... Lepke may have to type it up in the chat, but you could throw weapons. Like, that's one of the things is, like, your weapons break. So when they're close to breaking, you can throw them and you get extra damage.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you threw it and then paused it really quick and equipped a different weapon, it would duplicate. So, like, you could duplicate, like, all your really good weapons. And, like, one of the weapons you could get was Excalibur.
Oh, my gosh.
But it was only good for, like, 3 hits. But it would kill, like, everything.
Anything.
So we would duplicate Excalibur and just wreck stuff with it. But it's a really fun game. If you don't know who Techland is, they're the people who made the first Dead Island.
So definitely have a good history in the genre, in the zombie game genre.
They know what they're doing. They all came from Deep Silver when Deep Silver folded and now has since reopened. But yeah, no, it's a good team. I really look forward to that game. So thumbs up for me. The next one, the big one, the one that everybody's going to be talking about for a little bit, Horizon Forbidden West. This is a PlayStation exclusive.
For now,
yeah. From Guerrilla Games. This looks absolutely incredible. Visually, it is just a feast for your eyes. I haven't beat Horizon, but I've played enough of it to know that I will absolutely be playing this as soon as I possibly can. And hopefully on a PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Watching this trailer made me want to go break into Luke's house and steal his
PlayStation,
his PS4, so I can play it. Not the new game, Horizon Zero Dawn, because I still have yet to play that. But just as well, like, I think that it is probably the best looking game I've seen so far. In trailer. Granted, this is a trailer. This is going to be more or less still they're showing us a vertical slice. This is not, the final product. Yeah. But I think that, like I was talking about earlier, I do still see, with this being a PS4, it's not a PS5 exclusive, so it's a PlayStation exclusive, but it will be also on PS4. Like, I could kind of, like, when I watched it, I was like, there's some things that I would have expected them to be really expanded upon, and I felt like this was actually probably a little smaller, and that could have been just because for the purposes of a demo, but I feel like it's maybe actually we're kind of constrained by the last gen, so let's just throw more things in these denser locations so that on last gen, everything can load. We just won't have as much foliage and extra things. But on the next gen, we can really show that off. That said, draw distances are amazing. Like, being able to, like, walk around and see the Golden Gate Bridge way out there, and assuming that sometime I'll probably walk over to it, like...
Yeah, I think one of the coolest revelations from the first game is when you recognize where you are. Yeah. And you're like, oh, this is the U.S. Yeah. Like, this isn't just some weird fantasy land. Like, this is a thing. And so I think it's really cool that now they can kind of just openly say, hey, look, we're going to have these things in our world.
Yes.
But yeah, I kind of wanted to hit on, too, the graphics a little bit. I agree. I think this is the most next-gen looking game I think that I've seen. It is just incredible looking. It looks so fluid and smooth and clean, and I really look forward to 2-3 years from now when this is the norm.
Yes.
I think where you see it kind of trying to bridge the gap, and this is a really strange place for it, is the conversational cutscenes.
Yeah,
those I thought looked the worst. That's not saying much because it all looked pretty good. It does look pretty good, but those moments didn't look great. by comparison to what the gameplay looks like, which the gameplay is what you're there for anyways.
Yeah. Well, you got it. It's a PlayStation. You got to have those barrel rolls, man.
That's right.
Gameplay.
That's right.
90% of PlayStation games is just barrel rolling out of the way of a boss, right?
That and QuickTime events, baby. You got to get those in. Also, Ashley Birch is great as Aloy, and I'm so glad that after Mythic Quest, she can still do that stuff too.
Yeah. Tyler, real quick before we move on from Horizon, I'm curious. I have a bit of a hot take on the creatures. I'm curious what your take on the two new creatures that we got to see. How did you feel about their design and look? Did you like them? Were you like, oh my god, or were you like?
So I'm assuming your hot take is you don't like them.
My hot take is I think much like Transformers, they're too complicated.
They have too much going on.
They have too much going on, and I really do prefer the armored creatures that were in the first one, where they were much more heavily armored and you didn't see so much of the intricate things happening underneath.
Graphics, baby.
Yeah. But my defense there is that busier is not always better.
Here's this is gonna shock you. I think one of the reasons I haven't beat Horizon is because I love the dinosaur idea as dinosaurs. Like the robot stuff is cool. Like and this could be partly because I haven't beat it and I don't know the story behind it. Because I've avoided spoilers like the plague for that game.
Yeah.
But I personally like more of like a fleshy bad guy in games. Shooting robots is always weird to me.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think they're cool. I think it's like in the first game, like you can shoot parts off of them and then take them to craft things, which I always thought was really cool. So it lends itself to what that game is. Right. So, but no, I thought they looked fine. I don't have any complaints about them.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah, lots of trailers and reveals, and there's only more to come in the next few weeks.
Did you watch the Unreal Engine 5 demo?
No, I honestly, so I went on a hike Saturday, and I was kind of tuned out. I know this came out a couple days, I think a day or two before that. But I saw it like pop up, and I was like, that's not real. And I moved on. And then I saw it again like just a little bit ago, and I was like, oh man, that's actually real. No, I didn't watch it. The screenshots from it look absolutely insane, though.
Yeah, so it's not anything. Obviously, it's not a game. It's not anything that probably the average even listener of our podcast would be all that interested in. I just wanted to nerd out a little bit because of, like, you're right. It looks amazing what Unreal Engine is able to do, graphically is just so far beyond what I'm seeing anyone else do. And the speed at which you can do things like iterate on geometry, and we Luke and I, Tyler as well, big Destiny fans, and one of the things that was always such a sticking point for them was how fast they could iterate on their levels, because things took so long to compile, and just the speed at which you're able to do things in Unreal 5, I think is going to make take games in a whole nother level in terms of what a small team can do. I think we saw that. We've been seeing that with things like Biomutant. It's a very small team. It looks really good.
It's on Unreal too, yeah.
Yeah. Disintegration, a game which did poor last year. I still love it. Again, a team of for the majority of that game's development time, it was a team of like 10 or 15 people, and it has like maybe not next gen, but at the time current gen graphics associated with it that look really, really good, and that's because they're able to do more with the assets.
This is wild.
I know, right? So just I'm really excited for the future games is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is insane, man. I'm really looking forward to. Wow. what games will look like in 3-4 years. I even said it earlier before watching this. But
I think honestly, and there's always this conversation around the time of a new console generation because so much of how games in general look around consoles, because there's such a large market there. Even PC, games that make ports for console like that, they're a little bit limited by that. And obviously PCs range in their power, so you make a range of options for them as well. And once we're kind of like ditching the last gen consoles, developers, once they start ditching them here in, like you said, probably 3 years, we're going to see some pretty big leaps and bounds.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts, and I cannot wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all the trailers.
You got more gaming news?
There is some more gaming news out there.
More gaming news, baby.
So I will start with everybody's favorite train wreck, Cyberpunk 2077. This game is out. It has gone gold. It has been released, and it is not a games as a service. But that did not stop them from hiring a new game director and moving the other guy over to a different project. I didn't use names because honestly, I don't think anybody who listens to this is going to care about who they are or know which game directors they are. But they have since effectively fired the previous game director and have put a new guy to lead the game. He's pretty much leading a recovery effort at this point. But it's kind of interesting to see CD Projekt Red, a studio who had earned so much goodwill with its fans after The Witcher 3, just completely lost. And it just, again, press reset, guys. I cannot harp on this enough. It just kind of proves the volatility of gaming and just how quickly your story can change. CD Projekt Red was like untouchable. Like people were like, oh yeah, this is a hit no matter what. I'll wait 9 years for this game since its announcement to come out. And then it just did not do well at all in terms of gameplay. It did well financially. But yeah, no, they have a new game director. That's nuts to me.
Yep, and his focus is on DLC and expansions, but also getting the game in a ideal state for things like next gen console optimizations aren't there yet. Still, we're coming up on 6-7 months after post launch.
It was February.
Oh, was it? It was only February.
Or was it December?
I thought it was.
It might have been late last year. I don't know.
It was late last year.
It's been a while. It should have been out already. I think no. February was when their patch was supposed to come out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think the game came out in like October, November, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's not good. Not good at all.
Good luck.
More gaming stuff. This one's the all Tyler thing. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes got their release dates. They're coming out November 19th. As well as their Pokemon Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Legends Arceus is coming out January 28th of 2022.
The Legend of Arceus? That's an awesome shotgun in Destiny 2.
Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yeah, the Legend of Arceus.
Or Arceus or whatever. Yes. That. It's a game about a shotgun, and you can tell it to shoot people. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
No, it's open world Pokemon game. It's kind of the game everybody was hoping would be the first thing released on the Switch.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that this is actually finally going to happen, and it's coming out way sooner than I thought. Like they announced it a couple months ago, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's not coming out for like 3 years." Nintendo is infamous for announcing projects well into their life cycle.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, we got this game we've been working on, and it's going to come out tomorrow." Like that's just what Nintendo does, and I think that's just the culture that they kind of breed over there.
And then sometimes they announce Metroid and then they completely restart that game.
Yeah.
Like 3 years after they haven't set anything up.
Nintendo does a good job of hiding
getting emotional about it.
They do a really good job of hiding their bad PR though.
Yeah, they do. They're
really good at it.
Well, speaking of Nintendo, maybe when is it releasing? Did we get a date?
Legends Arceus is January 28th, 2022.
Well, maybe.
It might be with the Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Well, There's also some more concrete rumors swirling around about a new Nintendo Switch model.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it'll be kind of coming out in just in time for
window?
that. And this is rumored to just kind of take the place of the default Switch. There will still be the Switch Lite, but this will kind of phase out the old OG Nintendo Switch and take its place.
I wonder what that'll be. I know that they had hired some 4K people, so I'm assuming it's just going to be a stronger version with probably better Joy-Cons.
My guess is it's probably going to have a 1080p or some weird, because it's Nintendo, it'll probably be some weird in-between resolution between 1080p and 4K. There's not really a good reason to have a 4K display that's on the size of a Switch.
Yeah.
And
I think it
eats
4K.
up so much power. I think it'll just be 4K docked.
Yeah.
But like a 1080 proper
1080
1080p, it'll have a better battery.
Yep.
I'm still betting on that cellular connectivity probably. I don't know. At this point, if they haven't felt a real need for it, they won't implement it because it's just another cost.
Dude, could you imagine going to like Verizon and they sell Switches with cellular capability? Like that would just be insane. I don't know. I think it's still feasible with mobile gaming growing more and more as things go on.
Yeah.
Why not?
Better. The one thing they have to do, better Joy-Cons.
Yeah, that's a non-negotiable.
It's like you can't have 40% of your Joy-Cons fail again.
Like I had to mail mine in.
I just didn't. I just bought a new one.
Yeah, I mailed mine in.
It wasn't worth the hassle.
Here's a prediction for you for next year.
Ooh.
The Apple App Store will be on the Switch.
Oh my gosh.
Apple Arcade, man. Get that thing to more people. That would be a nutso prediction.
That is a nutso prediction.
Or the Google Play Store. One of them.
I could see the Google Play Store.
Yeah. One of those mobile gaming stores will like end up being on the Switch at some point, is my guess. Because I play a game on my phone called Marvel Strike Force. I would love to play that on my Switch. Mm-hmm. It feels like a Switch game.
Yeah.
I can see it happen.
Lepke says, when I bought my wife's engagement ring, I got a Switch.
That's so crazy, man. Like, it's such a weird pairing. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I hope that new Switch comes out. I definitely will have an eye on it for sure. If I have a PS5 by then, we'll see.
Say, PS5's higher on my list.
Yep. I don't have any more gaming stuff.
Oh, baby. Sit back and relax, because I've only got like 2 more stories.
Okay.
Uncharted 4. It was not announced, but in a Sony...
Uncharted 5?
Nope. Uncharted 4 is coming to PC.
Oh.
So this was in a board meeting or a investors meeting. There was a slide in the presentation that said games coming to PC.
And Uncharted was on there.
Uncharted 4 was on there.
Huh.
So expect more and more, and there was some discussion there as well about new revenue avenues, breaking outside of just the PlayStation ecosystem to bring in revenue. So expect them all to go to PC. The fanboys will be a little butthurt, but that's okay.
I am very intrigued by that. I wonder what the revenue share is for them with the show. And I wonder if it's been encouraging. And so they're like, maybe this isn't a bad idea. So
could be.
I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Like, because the MLB kind of forced them to do that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like they saw the numbers and were like, holy cow, guys, we could be making a lot more money. Like, what are we doing? Because Sony's like notoriously always been a hardball guy on that.
Oh, they're a hardball on everything.
Yeah, so it would be really interesting to see that. I think it'd be cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Like Horizon came to PC, I think, last year. Mm-hmm. Good for the PC players who got to play it. It's an awesome game for sure.
Yep. And then my final gaming story is just a little one for those of us who play Destiny. But Destiny 2's Stasis Changes are coming early.
Yeah, I did see that.
There were plans for some big Stasis Changes happening next season, which this current season of Destiny just started like 3 weeks ago. So like it would have been in like another 10 weeks or something like that. But they're happening basically tomorrow.
Yeah.
From when we're recording this, if you're listening via the podcast, they're probably already live.
That's just crazy, man.
And so I'm super excited to get back into PvP and see how those changes are. And I'm hoping that they get some good feedback on where it's at, so that for season 15 is kind of rumored to be a big PvP focused season.
Will they have new maps?
Boy, if they don't, they're really gonna.
Good on Bungie to recognize they needed to make a change. You good over there, boss?
Yes. No.
Choking on your own spit?
You made me laugh.
Oh. So. I've never done that before. So
no, you're notoriously bad at comedy, Tyler, but
I don't know what to do.
You got me tonight. Well, while I'm dying over here, why don't you go tell us about the next news story?
There was one more gaming thing. I don't know how true it is, but apparently the title card for God of War was also in that investors meeting. God of War Ragnarok. I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, cool. It's what we were all already thinking, and we're excited about it. The end of the first God of War game definitely gives you the idea that something like that is coming.
Oh, so, yeah.
No, it's super cool. Super excited. Next story, though, we're going to move out of video games. I thought this is my feel-good story of the week.
Ooh.
Howard University.
Yes.
Renamed their fine arts school.
That's right.
Did you hear about this?
I did.
Yeah, the Chadwick Boseman School of Arts.
Yep.
That is amazing. And it made me smile. That's really cool.
Yep. He has left quite the incredible legacy, and that's very well deserved.
Yep. Sucks he's not around to see it, but man, it's so cool.
Yep.
What you got?
We got the first set photo for the Uncharted movie.
Yeah.
Did you see that with Marky Mark and Tom?
Yeah,
Tommy
there was
boy?
Also like a leaked 2-second scene.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's the same. It's that with them walking.
Yeah, walking with a flashlight.
Yeah,
that looks good. The little photo. Yeah, obviously it's gonna be edited all to heck, but
yeah, nothing in it alarmed me.
No,
so that's
good. It looked good.
That's what I was looking for when I saw that it came out. I was like, okay, hopefully it doesn't look awful.
Basically, good costuming is what I can say.
Yep,
it's like costumes look good.
Yep.
No idea if the acting is good yet, or writing is good yet, or cinematography is good yet.
Well,
but
let's hope there's some good writing happening, because we're getting a Joker 2 script written by Todd Phillips. Officially in the works is Joker 2. I like that movie a lot. Mm-hmm. I think it's really, really good. I don't know what a sequel to that looks like.
Yeah, it's not one that I feel needs a sequel, that's for sure.
If it's him against Gordon, like he's doing a bunch of things and Gordon's trying to track him down, cool, but don't make it from... I guess if you're going to make it from the Joker's perspective, like I just don't understand what you're going for. I don't know what the story is here and how you tell that story, because you're kind of glorifying the villain.
Well, we've certainly seen a rise in anti-hero movies, and Disney has tried to do some of that as well with their villains. Maleficent, the Sleeping Beauty villain, and now Cruella. So Hollywood certainly thinks they can do it. I wouldn't say any of those movies have gotten the critical success that I would say would be encouraging as an executive to be like, yeah, let's do more of those.
See, but Joker made $1 billion.
Yeah, I know. And a movie can make $1 billion, and you still don't have to make a sequel.
Here's what I think. Okay. If I was making a Joker sequel, this is what it would be. He is now the Joker. Mm-hmm. That is established.
Sure.
He does not have the respect of the other crime families that are already established in Gotham. Now it's time for him to make his mark there. That's the only thing I could think of that kind of makes sense.
So it's
him working his way into the crime world now. Because he really wasn't in the crime world in this.
But that's what they did in Dark Knight. It's Dark Knight, but with more emphasis on the Joker because there's not a Batman.
Correct.
Which could be, again, could be cool, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know. Luke says in the chat that Joker 1 glorified the villain, in his opinion. That is your opinion. And I think you can interpret it that way, but
I didn't interpret it that way.
That's not how I interpret it either. I think it's more of a just a holding the mirror up and not a glorification.
Yeah.
That said, there are certain themes in there that make the Joker character, Arthur Fleck, certainly more relatable or empathetic to be towards, because he's kind of behind a certain kind of cause, or he's, anti super wealth type of thing. But I could still understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? I guess we'll see. There's always the chance that this movie doesn't make it past the script stage. That a script doesn't get written that they like, and they just say creative differences and part ways.
Yeah, I think this would be best. WB has to explore it.
Oh, it made from a business perspective, you have to.
It made $1 billion.
Yeah,
I get it. I think that's probably the end game here. I think Joker's a good movie, start to finish. Let it be done. Move on.
Yep.
If you want to do more of this, like in the villain world thing, pick a different character and do that. But I think they should leave that alone. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix would want to do a sequel. Honestly, I think he wants to right now. I don't think when it comes down to it, I don't think he ever thought it would happen.
Probably not, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'd do it. And now they're like, okay, we're going to do it. And he's probably like, gosh dang it, why did I say anything? So yeah, ultimately, I don't know that it'll happen. But kudos to them for trying.
Yeah.
But villain movies, man, that's the thing. That is the thing. And we finally got some casting for one of those villain movies.
Did we now?
Kraven the Hunter was casted in the Sony universe of Spider-Man that is not part of the MCU, but it's also kind of part of the MCU in some weird roundabout way where it'll all kind of make sense, involving Doctor Strange at some point. I don't know. Aaron Taylor Johnson's going to play Kraven the Hunter. And I immediately am more interested in that movie than I ever was.
Yeah. I think we've all kind of been on board for a Kraven the Hunter villain to go up against Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so I think this is a great choice in actor. Like you were saying earlier, Aaron Taylor Johnson is a chameleon.
Yes.
When it comes to being an actor, he looks and is different. He's the complete opposite of Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Chris Pratt is Chris Pratt in every single movie he's in.
Yes.
That is not necessarily a bad thing, but it just means he doesn't have a lot of range. This guy has just a ton of range.
Yes.
And you look at him in something like Age of Ultron versus something like Godzilla, and it's two completely different.
Or even
things.
Tenet. Tenet in there too, yeah. I didn't even realize it.
He's in Tenet.
So the chameleon term I stole from Luke because we were watching Tenet and I leaned over and I like screamed because of how loud the movie was. I was like, Luke, who is that guy? And he was like, that's Aaron Taylor Johnson. That guy's a chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
And like every time now when I think of an actor, the other person I think of is Tom Hardy in The Revenant. Like, dude is just a chameleon. Like he just blends in with whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy's one of those. Aaron Taylor Johnson's one of those.
Yep.
Christian Bale is one of those. Like those guys, they kind of fit that category. So yeah,
they just disappear into the role.
Yeah, and it's really cool. Joaquin Phoenix is one of those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luke gave me that term, so thank you, Luke. But yes, Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven the Hunter. Before I was kind of like, I don't really care if they're in the MCU. But now with him as a villain, I'm like, okay, can he come over?
Can we wrap that? Yeah.
Can that one go in? Because that'd be cool. It'll be interesting. Sony is definitely casting better as of late.
Yeah.
I think. After the Venom 2 castings were widely panned. I think they've made one good casting, so they got that going for them. I don't have anything else, man. I think that other than there's a really big one, but I know that one's you.
The big story of the week.
I want to raise my hand first. Did you see something about this before last week's episode at all? Because you definitely touched on this as like an idea, and it actually happened.
Yeah, so there were some light rumors floating around.
Okay. Because I had not heard anything.
Yeah, so there were some light rumors floating around that Amazon may be buying MGM. And that is, in fact, happening. MGM is one of the, if not the oldest, Hollywood studio that's still around. Now, they don't do a lot. Pretty much their main revenue seems to be Bond movies. And that's, basically just distributing Bond movies because they don't have a ton of creative control over that. I mean, they do have some, but in any case, and then their library. They have a very impressive library because of their history. They have a lot of old movies.
They also have the Rocky franchise.
The Rocky franchise, that's right. So Rocky and Creed. So Amazon's buying them for $8.5 billion. That's pretty small change compared to some of the things we've been talking about with like Warner Media. But that said, it's still a big deal because it's the first tech company that's purchasing a legit studio.
Do they got Shaft?
How'd that new movie go?
I don't know.
So of course the big question is, what's Amazon gonna do with this?
Luke, they're gonna make a James Bond show. Actually, it's not gonna be a James Bond show. It's gonna be a show about the organization.
An MI6 show. I think that is probably a safe bet. My guess is that it will focus on a different 00. Or a group of agents that, if it's okay with the
the Broccoli's.
The Broccoli's. I almost said the Raspberries, and I was like, that's not right.
I didn't even know who the Broccoli's were until Luke said it one day, and I was like, "Did you just say broccoli?" He's like, "Yeah, the family's the Broccoli's," and I was like,
Broccoli's,
"What?"
who own James Bond. They may be doing that greater universe thing where whoever is Bond in the movies makes a little cameo appearance in the show every once in a while, type of thing.
Or just talked about.
Or talked about. It definitely referenced. But yes, I think that's a very safe bet versus a proper James Bond show. I think James Bond will stay cinematic.
Yes. Too much money there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think... I don't know. I am not the most knowledgeable on the James Bond stuff, but I think it'd be interesting to see how M became a thing. And how they choose M, and like, let's say we know who one of the handlers is. Like, what about their career as a 00?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, go back, make it like a not a timepiece, but a timepiece for lack of a better term. Like, go back to the 50s and 60s. And do something like that. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think this is primarily, obviously the library is important. They will all of a sudden have a bunch of classic things that they can, A, get money from licensing deals from, but B, also throw on their streaming service if they, need to entice people for around the holidays. Oh, look, all of a sudden for the holidays, all these, it's kind of what Apple did with the Peanuts, right? It's like, well, if you want to watch the Peanuts holiday special, you better watch it on Apple TV because it's not going to be hardly anywhere else. They can do that with some of these, classic movies. That said, I think going forward as they get more and more into creating media, I think we'll see probably a split when it comes to things like cinematic movies and TV shows. I think TV shows will probably forever be Apple or Amazon originals. I think they will drop the Amazon branding from their films and it will go under the MGM banner to give it a little more clout in the film industry, even though everyone will know what's going on. Because I think people will be less suspicious of something that says MGM and not Amazon. That's my, kind of business idea behind it, at least. But it's a big deal. It'll be interesting to see what's next, or who's next. I think originally I kind of thought Apple would be a early entity to throw money at acquiring a studio, but the more I see Apple TV Plus not doing particularly well, it does make sense that Amazon, who has crap ton of money and also a fairly decently aged, they're not as old as something like Netflix, but they've been doing it for a number of years, 5 years now?
Yeah, it's always kind of been like their secondary thing.
So, they've got some history there, some success, and probably enough money to not fail, which makes a purchase like this make a lot of sense.
Yeah, there will be, we'll see. I don't know. I was reading a Variety article about the Broccoli family.
Yeah, Luke says the Broccolis won't let a TV show happen. He doesn't think. No.
Well, they,
if anything, I think what it does is it makes Bond movies come out on a quicker pace.
So
I bet we get one every 2 to 3 years versus every 5 to 6 years.
So they did nix a TV show at one point, but it was going to be a Smallville-like show following a teenage Bond. So I would have nixed that too. Mm-hmm. They didn't win every battle. They tried to make a James Bond spin-off at one point focused on Jinx, played by Halle Berry.
Yeah.
MGM told them no. One of her main goals as a steward of 007 has been to shake off some of the chauvinism that characterized Bond's appearances in the novels and early films. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. They have, like Luke said, that the Broccolis won't let things happen. They cast people. They have a lot of control. So, control is often dealt with money. Mm-hmm. And if anybody has the money to do that, it's Amazon.
Yep.
So, I could see a show still happening.
Yeah. Like I think I mentioned last episode, they are winning the war. It's not a war. I think they're paying enough with the Tolkien estate to basically do what they want with. There are some hard lines, but they have immense creative freedom on that Lord of the Rings show, and money will buy you that.
And look at the properties they're acquiring, man. Lord of the Rings, James Bond, Tom Clancy. Amazon's up to something over there. They're all going to cross over.
Oh, no.